Tingle.
Hello, I'm Fiona Bruce, and welcome to
the Chuck Tingle Book Club.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Fiona Bruce.
Hello, and how do true buckaroos? Welcome back to another Pot Topic Podcast's Chuck Tingle Book Club. This time, we will be doing a deep dive on Not Pounded in the Butt by Anything, and That's Okay. As usual, Tom, who is my other host here, he will be doing the blow by blow, a quick rundown, a cliff notes, if you will, and then he'll be handing the reins over to me, where I give it the academic treatment that it so richly deserves.
Analyze it. Analyzes it.
Some might call it a chuckademic approach.
Only you call it a chuckademic approach.
Mate, I'm starting my own field.
Right, yes, so this book right here, you see in the middle of us, I can't get used to this pointing thing. There we go. I'm going to really struggle here because I'm reading in the dark to get the lighting right. So we'll see how this goes. So yeah, quick synopsis. First of all, I just want to point out this title actually sounds like the subtitle to, it just has the same rhythms and cadence as like Dr. Strangelove, How I Fell in Love with the Bomb or whatever it is. It's something about it, not pounding in the butt, and that's okay.
Oh right, okay. Just how it's a bit off as a title, sort of.
It's just extremely bloated, but it also, this book seems to have the plot of a Nigella Lawson show, so we'll go through this quickly. Get in position. Our tale opens on Ken waking up and getting ready for a big day at work. He has a big presentation to give. Everything seems okay, but it's oddly quiet outside. Oh, fuck. Daylight savings time. We've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
In a rush, Ken jumps into his car and speeds off. What's the worst thing that can happen right this minute? What do you think? Fucking unicorn butt cop pulls him over for speeding, doesn't he? Is there anything I can do to speed up this process? Anything at all? Ken pleads.
Oh
shit.
There is. You know there is.
Is Tingle about to drop the mic and drop Ken's pants? Nah. No, not at all. The cop just lets him off with a warm warning and a promise at which Ken will not do it again. Ken arrives at the office just 15 minutes later than he imagined he would, barges into the conference room full of his colleagues and his boss, Mr. Blonto,
yeah.
Who just happens to be a Bigfoot. After some gentle rib poking by Blonto, Ken starts his presentation. Tingleland, an adult amusement park based on the author's complete works and themes of books. The presentation starts well until Blonto remarks about the sexual nature of all of Tingle's works. Ken points out that not all of the Tingle Meister's books involve sexual plots or activities, but then Mr. Blonto asks everyone to leave and tells Ken in private he's going to need much more than that. Oh shit! Come on the blowjobs, yeah. Come on the blowjobs.
Oh, got to work for that promotion.
No.
Oh.
No, doesn't happen. Blonto just needs to write 10 ride designs by tomorrow morning and tells Ken to go home to work. Ken decides that instead of that, he'll go to the library. It's a much better idea. Whilst caught up in romanticism about the old building, he smashes into a shirtless raptor who drops his stack of books that he's carrying. This is Trip, the self-proclaimed handsome Jurassic librarian.
Mm-hmm. Feeling it.
Trip yeah, definitely. I feel it. He had a name badge on his belt buckle. That's how cool this kid is. Right. So Trip, yeah, I know, it's just a lovely detail. Is it a chiseled raptor with a belt buckle name tag? Trip helps Ken find books on amusement parks of the past and then coos at Ken. Is there anything else I can help you with? Oh, no, it doesn't happen. Ken simply asks him out, as he's a bit busy at the moment, what are you doing after work? come back to my place, have dinner,
It's
basically.
lovely. That's really sweet.
Yeah. And quite sweet, as he always refers to him as his new friend.
He does constantly.
At least that bit.
I certainly wish I could just sort of bump into people at libraries and then take them home. Like, feel even confident enough to like invite them back for a meal at mine.
And eat them for dinner. I mean, obviously, Trip says yes, but in a very flirty manner. God, bloody hell, I've still got the pages left. A feeling that it's growing is... Oh. Yep. So they go back after work, meet up for dinner. Trip goes over to Ken's house. While alone in the apartment, Ken feels a growing ache in his stomach. It's just hunger. Yeah. It's literally he's hungry.
It's coming up to dinner time. It's fair enough.
Yeah.
And we know he's been readying some treats for his new friend, Trip. Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah. Fuck, this is so fucking good. The dinosaur ushers as he eats some green beans. This then starts the sexiest, Nigella Lawson-esque dinner description that I've ever read.
Oh, man. It's good.
Ken takes potatoes and beans into his mouth, then potatoes, then beans, then potatoes, then beans, then both at once. Flavors down his throat, nervous anticipation for mains, cooking virginity admission, dino reassurance, oven peeking and looking back over the shoulder, oven gaping, eye transfixed on roast, sniffing of vegetarian roast over Ken's shoulder from behind, heavy breathing, pulling out the pea protein roast. Together, pulling on it roast together, bubbling juices, slab cutting, mouth-watering pleasure, moaning, groaning, fork plunging, overwhelming flavors, keeping up with the rhythm of eating, roast devoured. More? Fuck yeah. Going in for seconds, wolfing down the roast. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, was that too fast? The dinosaur. That really got me. I really laughed out loud and sorry, was that too fast? No, I fucking love it. So what's next? Thirds, fourths, fifths, on and on and on they go. Now ice cream. Massive spoonfuls of milky liquid all down Ken's chin, dripping back into the bowl. They collapse. In pleasure. They realise soon there that they really enjoy each other's company and that they're more than friends, but turns out that Ken's sort of asexual. And Trip is extremely understanding about this. Understanding, caring, and cool. And they, with that, we end off the sex scene with compassion ship and a promising future.
It's beautiful, it really is, and for a book in which no one gets slammed in the butt by anything, and that's okay. It's okay. It's really it's a beautiful tale. But you're right.
I mean,
that meal, man. That meal is hot.
I was so scared that it's going to really throw out our scoring system, because you know how precise our scoring system is, Taran. Yeah. And how scientific.
How so precise and so scientific, Tom, yes.
So, come on then, baby. Analyze me.
Well, this isn't an analyzing, as befits the piece. This is more of an analysis. So, Not Slammed in the Butt by Anything, and That's Okay, is a work of paraerotic fiction that does pretty much exactly what it says on the tin. It follows our protagonist Ken on a good day, one in which he has no sexual contact whatsoever. Not that there aren't opportunities. During the course of the day, he experiences a traffic stop, a work meeting, a chance meeting at a library, and an intimate meal, all of which are potentially ripe for sources of butt-slamming scenarios in the Tingleverse, but this doesn't happen, and that's okay. More than okay, as it turns out. I'll be honest, there was an essay I was expected to write based off the title alone, and I shouldn't be surprised at this point in my chuckademic career that it's not the essay I ended up writing. It's well established at this point that the one true buckaroo uses sex in his work, not least because his particular nut-busting niche relies on parodying the amateur short-form erotica genre. More importantly, Tingle uses sex as a shorthand for love, both in general and for its more specific aspects. Among these, we can find it being used to describe acceptance, support, growth, and so much more. That's what you get for looking away from the page and trying to make eye contact with the audience, you dickhead.
Try doing that in the fucking dark, man. I'm really finding it hard. So the obvious problem with this overabundance of sex, especially for a body of work as voluminous as Chuck's, is that it runs the risk of over-amplifying the role and importance of sex in love. Even a superficial look at Chuck's online presence reveals that he enjoys a broad and diverse fan base, and that he's acutely aware of it. Given this and his general savviness for exploring and fucking with themes, it's not hard to believe that Chuck realises his position comes with certain responsibilities. First is a duty to acknowledge that sex is not the be-all and end-all of love. Important for a man whose driving message is one of love. Second is a duty, and I think this is more of an artist's duty, to subvert in every way he can. In this case, by writing an erotica without any sex whatsoever. I feel that he's excelled in these duties of subversion, in both these duties rather, by writing a nut-free nutella. For me, nothing supports this more than the intimate meal at the end of the book. With constant references to juices, heat, and pleasure, combined with phrases like climbs up from his seat and positions himself behind me, and the two of us are moaning and groaning together, losing ourselves in the moments. The language of the scene is absolutely coded towards physical sexuality. This does the job of subverting the erotic form with sex-free sex, while also making the point that intense physical and emotional ecstasy are not limited to sex alone. It really is a masterstroke. These points... Without a stroke.
Without any master stroking. Yeah, I know, mate. I spent ages trying to cram that gag in. I couldn't make it fly. I'm glad you brought it up.
I'm just as puerile.
So these two aspects, these form the backbone of the book report I thought I was going to be writing. But there's so much more to this tale than merely sexless subversion. Let's start with the most obvious parts. After the meal, Ken's raptor companion Trip asks to spend more time together. The scaly sauceport reaches out and touches Ken's arm in a way that Ken's just not prepared for. Ken explains that he's interested in a more than friends relationship, but he's never going to be interested in physically sexual interactions. Ken has essentially just come out to Trip as asexual. Trip accepts this, and him, totally. If you think it might be an odd choice to represent asexuality in a predominantly sexual genre, then I would like to introduce you to a new term. Autochorisexuality is an expression of sexual desire through fantasies and relationships that are removed from reality, and sexual physicality, often without any desire whatsoever to take part in them oneself. At the risk of being reductive, this results in asexuals, being into erotica a lot more than you might expect. If you're interested in learning more than my own bumbling approach can offer, Vice's Richa Kalpate has written a good introductory article to this realm of human sexuality, titled "How Some Asexuals Use Erotica to Get Off." It's a good and interesting read. Asexuality isn't just as blanket as no sexuality. It's as with all things in life, there are complexities and multitudes. So not only is Chuck representing an oft overlooked part of the LGBTQ plus community, one possibly quite present in his own fan base, he's also combining this representation with that first duty I mentioned, of acknowledging that sex isn't the be-all and end-all of love. And yet, this isn't a story about asexuality, at least not just about asexuality. Ken's preference for cake explains the narrative arc of the first... I put that in and I realised there's got no context. Preference for cake, there's a joke that goes around the asexual community in the question of do you prefer sex or cake? Asexuals always go for cake. So
Right.
that's where that came from. I realised I just kind of put that in without any lead up to it whatsoever. Sorry. And yet, this isn't a story about asexuality, at least not just about asexuality. Ken's preference for cake explains the narrative arc of the second half of Not Slammed in the Butt by Anything, and That's Okay. The meeting with Trip and the subsequent build-up to the meal, intense culmination of the meal, and romantic resolution after the meal are all tense and tingly, as befit a tingler. And the sexlessness of the occasion becomes obvious with Ken's coming out, but this leaves the entire first half of the book flapping in the wind. With a traffic stop by a studsome unicorn stallion and a bit of beefy Bigfoot business behind closed doors, neither of whom makes so much as a slight suggestion towards a saucy slam session, how does this all tie together? There's a phrase Ken uses in the very last paragraph of this piece. I shrug, laughing as I realise what an understanding and caring companion I found. This stuck with me for a while. For some reason, it reminded me of an article I read somewhere that talks about what long-term couples actually found important in keeping relationships going. As you can imagine, there are almost as many articles about relationship advice as there are porn sites on the internet, and without remembering the outlet or even the medium of the original article, I was unable to find it. I did, however, manage to find the think piece that it was based on, which I felt was quite lucky.
Well done.
In 2016, writer-blogger Mark Manson crowdsourced relationship advice from 15,000 couples. The third conclusion he draws from all of the responses, and the focus of the article that I read, is that the most important factor in a relationship is not communication, but respect. When we talk about understanding and caring for others, such as Trip does for Ken, we're talking about respect. Or, as the dictionary defines it, due care for the feelings, wishes, and rights of others. Content warning, you are about to hear the word respect an awful lot. If you're particularly prone to semantic satiation, this could be a rough ride. This is the key to Not Slammed in the Butt by Anything, and That's Okay. The book is oozing respect. Every interaction positively drips with it. Our first interaction is Ken being pulled over by a lip-nibblingly gorgeous unicorn butt cop for speeding. When told he was going 25 over the speed limit, Ken doesn't prevaricate or make excuses. He respects that he's broken the law and respects the cop's position in pulling him up on it. So he just says sorry. When Ken asks if there's anything he can do to speed up the ticketing process, the cop simply asks him to make a promise. Don't do that again, okay? It's dangerous. The cop seems to respect that a mistake has been made and asks Ken to behave in a way that respects other road users by not being dangerous. Ken even goes on to say that he carries on, this time at a respectable speed. And even though he's still running late, Ken respects the promise he makes, remarking that a promise is a promise. I told this unicorn butt cop I'd follow the speed limit. From there, well, the orgy of esteem continues once our hero gets to work. He's 15 minutes late, and in front of the meeting that's gathered to hear his project idea, he apologises and explains to the Bigfoot boss, Mr. Blonto, that he forgot to adjust his clocks for daylight savings last night. Mr. Blonto is clearly a little bothered. Sorry, open brackets, close brackets. I don't need to do that. This is a video medium now. I could just do this. He's clearly a little bothered, but respects Ken and the apology enough not to chew him out in front of the board. Ken explains his plans for Tingle Land, which, though obviously impressed Blonto and his subordinates, also raises a concern. Rather than calling Ken out in front of his co-workers, he asks for a private conversation in which he points out that you can't just have a theme park full of rampant sexual imagery, even if it is for adults only. He's demonstrating, that is, Mr. Blonto's demonstrating respect for those who may wish to attend, but not want a constant cavalcade of carnality crammed into their craniums. Wishes to attend the theme park. After Ken assuages this doubt, Blonto gives him the monumental task of designing 10 rides by tomorrow, but also sends him home to do the assignment because he respects Ken's workflow enough to know that he's more creative out of the office.
I'm getting triggered. By the respect that I offered.
I know. I did warn, man. I did warn. Finally, there's the Ken and Trip affair. From their courteous apologies from bumping into each other, through Trip's complimenting of Ken's home, to Ken explaining that he's not interested in sex, and Trip understanding and maintaining interest anyway, their every moment together resounds with respect. But rather than go through all that, I'd like to point out the one that spoke volumes to me. See, Ken has made a meal for he and Trip, a roast no less. The roast, however, is a vegetarian one. Ken respects that this might be an issue for a dyed-in-the-wool carnivore, such as a velociraptor, and comes clean about it before serving. Trip responds with transcendent respect. He doesn't even blink, he's just excited to try it. This is a little thing, but it's one of those small social faux pas that can go wildly awry if people don't handle it respectfully. It's for all these reasons and the myriad smaller examples that I don't have time to dissect here that I feel the strongest unifying message of the work is that of respect. But beyond the character interactions, there's also the respect paid to asexuality and respecting that sex is not the be-all and end-all of love. It's a message that respect is one of the core facets of love. And this is all done, even powered by Tingle's characteristic flair for subversion. And I can respect the hell out of that. Kaboom!
Brilliant.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, it was an interesting read. And what I didn't actually have to do a lot of research for. There was just kind of most of the stuff that I had kind of hovering around was just like, oh yeah, that I just need to find the article.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't notice half of those. I'm right. Yes, I only read it like 2 hours ago, this book, and I haven't reread it since. But I didn't catch up on quite as many showings of respect. Without trying to use that word again. I was going to go appreciation of other people's feelings, but respect. All right, then. So let's get on. Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Who is it, Tom? Oh, it's not.
I don't know. Can we do a panto thing?
Why?
Hang on.
What's going to happen? Is he going to be behind you? Oh my God, she's behind you.
Oh no, he is. Yeah, he is. Hang on. Forgot to put the voice on that.
You do. This.
Great thanks, horny human. I am Tingletron. 4,000 split review for old schools old for you.
Okay. Sorry.
It's the bit the Terran hates, everyone. Yay!
Your voice is still all. Is that Tingletron talking? Is that Tom? It can be difficult to tell sometimes.
Oh. No, it's Tom.
Oh, cool. Yeah, okay. Tingletron's gone. That's fine. That's cool.
I mean, he's there, but sorry, this is just literally my character from a role-playing game that we play. So I was like, oh shit, I need a robot to pop up behind me, and that was the only picture I could get in 10 minutes. Right, so now we review the book based on the GameSpot game review system, scoring system from the early 2000s. So we're going to look at the Tingle. It's the cover art. That's replacing graphics. Getting to the Tingle. That's pacing of the story. Replacing story with sound. Mm-hmm. Giving you the Tingle. The sexiness, which will be an interesting one in this one. That's replacing gameplay. Saving you some Tingle. Value for money in the original. And Tingle tilt. It's a reviewer's tilt. It's a reviewer's tilt from GameSpot. Score. Overall score with the 4 score 4.
The 4 score, isn't it?
4 score. So we score everything out of 5.
And that gives us a score out of 10 because
10.
Nothing means anything anymore.
I do it because it annoys him. So we got graphics looking at the Tingle. I'm going to say that cover art. Hang on, I need to flip back. Excuse my clicking. Okay, so we've got Ken. We've got the sexy raptor. He doesn't have his fucking name tag on his belt buckle. In fact, he doesn't even have a belt on.
Doesn't even have a... Oh, man, that's marks against. Sorry, I'm just bringing it up again quickly. I have looked at it before. Cool. I seem to remember liking it.
Yeah, I have to say... Okay, so they're in the Ken's kitchen, obviously. Nice open plan kitchen design by the looks of it. Beautiful chandelier. Again, the raptor is topless and chiseled, as in the story, and it's actually a raptor head. Last time we had a raptor story, it was a T-Rex head.
Yeah, that was certainly a mark against, for sure. It looks like Ken's got a pretty nice place going on. Ken's certainly a pretty boy. In Trip's situation, I probably would have reached out to touch his arm as well.
Yep.
So,
especially saying he's so exposed.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you know what? 4? I'm thinking 4.
Solid 4.
Solid 4.
We now have getting to the Tingle, the pacing. Now, this had some seriously good comic pacing in it.
It had some seriously good comic pacing. It also had some seriously good erotic pacing in it. Like with the interaction with the butt cop and Mr. Blonto, even though nobody's getting pandered in the butt by anything, there was still that frisson of what's gonna happen. But then
they won't they?
You get the comical pivot where it's just like, oh yeah, don't do that again, or whatever. And that kind of carries it through until it does. You do actually get to the sort of more romantic end of the things, and I guess that's kind of the easier way to talk about it. It is erotic, but it is romantic more than anything else. And like the second you get to that meal, man, you just like, you're not expecting it, and it feels like it comes out of nowhere, and it just washes over you. You're just like, what is he doing? Yes. And for me, this is a 5. This is just
absolutely solid, perfect score, 5. The thing I really loved was I was so shit scared I wouldn't be able to play my new sexy music, and there is actually a sexy music bit.
Oh yeah, man.
Going to the pleasure zone. Right, so now we got giving you the tingle, the sexiness. Now, as I have stated in previous reviews, one thing that really gets me going, one thing that really turgifies the Todger is the build-up, the anticipation, the excitement, the beginning bit. This has all of it with none of the payoff. It's like a really good Monty Python joke. Like, there's no punchline. It's just all the craft of getting there.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm not going to go beat one out, but...
Well,
yeah.
do you know what? I definitely found, certainly while reading the mill, I definitely found myself, have you ever had like, a text back and forward with someone where it's kind of in those early stages, or even not, you're just kind of having like naughty text back and forth, just kind of trying to wind each other up. And like, there's a particular smile I find I wear. Sometimes it involves just kind of lightly nibbling a lip. And I found myself doing exactly that, while reading the mill, which I thought was pretty impressive.
I think it's pretty impressive that you tried this on with everyone and me. I thought I was special. I thought it was fine.
I mean, I'm not asexual, Tom.
You're a sexual pervert.
I've got to get it about. Oh, that's a lie. I'm about as bi-pandered as it gets.
3, 4.
Remind me, we're doing the
sexiness.
The sexiness. Yeah, I think 3, which is impressive considering that there's no sex.
Yeah. I was so impressed with that. Value for money, straight up 5.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? I think I'm going to define a 5 going forward as I would happily read this again, because obviously they're cheap as fuck, these stories.
Of course.
5,
yeah.
I think a 5 has got to be I will reread this.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
And so now we get down to the final reviewer's tilt. This is art, this book. It's got some comic timing, it's got some sexual tension, it sums up the Tingle verse completely and utterly. It even opens with Ken pouring chocolate milk on his cereal.
Yes, yeah. It couldn't be more Tingleverse. Even like there's even a nod, although none of them come up in the book. There's mention of the living objects part of the theme park, and there's even like a complete momentary annihilation of the fourth wall when Ken's saying not every Chuck Tingle book involves sex. For instance, this one doesn't. And then just leaves it. It does everything Tingle does in this book. It's wonderful. And then more.
The one thing, and more. The one thing that kind of misrepresents this as a Tingle verse Tingle book is the fact that Tingle is referred to as Tingle. Do you know what I mean? Like we've had Tingle in his own universe called Truck Tungle or whatever.
Buck Trungle, but that's only when that's only when he's Chuck Tingle's actual self insert into the thing. But otherwise, there have been references to the Tingleverse.
Fair. All right, so yeah, I'm going to say that was a very good reviewer's tilt score.
Yeah,
what do we say?
5.
5.
Yeah, I'm
ladies and gentlemen,
5.
Ladies and bloody gentlemen, we have a new number 1.
No, really? Oh,
we have finally beaten our very first review, Pounded by the Pound. We have 8.8 out of 10.
Oof. Oh, mama. Wow. Okay, this is, it's one of the best then.
That score is going to stay up there for quite a while. So it's Pounded by the Pound in second. And then Monday Pounds Me in the Butt for a close third.
God, man, that was
all the scores as well, and the breakdowns can be found on our website. There, you go to the top of the page, there is a Chuck Tingle Book Club button. Click on that and you'll see the little table with all the scores in.
And also, as we're like also on YouTube now, should we include links to the articles and blogs mentioned in PSA, which you can find down there in the Hoobly thing.
Down there.
Down. Down in the Tingle.
I'm actually, to be fair, I did do that in the last one when we were talking about Let Me Know.
Of course, yeah.
Channel. So yeah, Taz, have you got the pot there so we can pick out next?
Oh God,
next book.
Damn it! Finally,
I put up a screen. I've got a fucking robot. I made this OBS bollocks.
Do you know what? You've got about 30 seconds to really get a good bitching about it while I'm not on mic.
Well, yeah, I was hoping that. I was hoping you'd walk away while I was vamping, but apparently you have to point out, because again, you're fucking unprofessional, mate. I spent all this time setting this shit up. I do mic tests. I've got a fucking soundboard, so I can do the Chuck Tingle intro music whenever I want. I spent so long doing this the other night. I was up until 5 a.m. It was because I couldn't sleep. But, you know what? I'm just going to play it over and over and over again.
So could you cleanly pee in my mouth, please?
No, Taryn, can you just go and get the pot?
So could you cleanly pee in my mouth?
Shush, we didn't do anything.
Right, sweetsomes. Let's just get my feet up, have a good old rummage around the tinghole, and then...
what's it going to be?
I'm going deep on this one.
All right, before we start, what do you want to come out of the pot? What kind of story do you want to come out of the pot?
I don't know. Do you know, it's just been hovering there for so long. But the pounded in the butt by my own butt would be a good one. Which, if any of that series comes up, we've agreed to do it in order, haven't we?
Yeah. Anything that's that set in stone.
Sequential.
We've been lucky so far. We've been lucky so far because we've had Space Raptor Butt Invasion, which is the first. I want the second book. I want the second Butt Raptor.
The other thing, we also haven't had a Bigfoot book yet.
Oh shit! Yeah. All right, what we got?
Oh, amazing! So released April 8th, 2016. Feeling the Bern in my butt. It's a Bernie Sanders one.
Yay! We like Bernie.
All right, brilliant. That's gonna be.
I got really excited. That was a Trump one. Then I got really excited.
Yeah, that's another area that we haven't wandered over to yet. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, cool. Right, let's wrap this shit up then, because we're gonna be going for fucking ages. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. You can check us out on pottopicpodcast.com. This is also a podcast in our RSS feeds, which you can get through all your podcast platforms, the website, or here on YouTube. Check out the links below for all of Taryn's links. And thank you for the open source bollocks music, not bollocks, but good music that we're using in our show now. Fuck you, BBC. I'll use the Call My Bluff theme if I want.
Hey, we pay. We're English. We pay our goddamn license. That music's ours as much as it is yours.
There was like 2 years there where I was paying for a TV license when I didn't watch BBC at all.
Oh, then earned, mate. It's more than it's the least they can give us.
Right. Fuck you, BBC. All right. Anyway. Catch you later, guys.
And as ever, love is real.
Love is real.